Hey, good morning, and should I say good afternoon? Here we are, Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al-Bob. I am your griot, Sensei Al-Bob, and I've started a new novel, Here in a Deep Green. You know, it's real interesting where I am. Time stands still, and I have friends in Asheville that are 70 miles away from here, and they're always so busy. They're doing so much. Maybe, you can come in and maybe an hour to spend with you. Really? This is kind of where I want them to come stay, where there's a gigantic lake and a swimming pool down there and a nice restaurant and waterfalls and mountains and tra-la, and everyone's so busy. And what do they get with all that busyness? The pace of life is speeding up, and so it was. Back in the Stone Age, they had to roll that rock up the hill. And then the Iron Age, they had to go get coal and iron, smash it into swords, but they were scared of the guy next door. And then, the Dark Ages came. I love it when people talk about, when the times are coming. Yeah, anytime soon. Back in the day of the Dark Ages, that was the end times. You lived to be about 12. The sheriff took everything, the king took everything, the church took everything. You think priests are pornographic today? Back in the day, when the Catholic Church started, pagan businessmen who started the Holy Roman Empire, they had forget one wife, they had about 12 and concubines and little boys. God said that was all good. So we, the Torah, it reads like a soap opera. Lots of begetting and people getting taken out. And people think today's times are worse. Well, if you're living in Syria or Yemen or,
How do we feel about dessert?
I'm still mulling over. I'm leaning towards the cheesesteak, but I haven't made up my mind.
Oh, okay. All right. You want me to get that one?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I just had bisque soup, lobster bisque. Yummy! And I'm going to take care of it at home and they give you a nice fresh loaf of bread. I made French toast of it yesterday and this morning. That really yummy coffee. And I had a grilled cheese with a homemade white bread. A grilled tomato, 2 different cheeses, sharp, mozzarella. And it'll cost me all of $16. And I might, just might, have cheesecake. Life's pretty good, right? So, that story takes place back in the day when my My dog, Bella. I'm a dog boy. I relate to dogs, and I've always have, you know, since I was a little guy. And when I was a little guy in my neighborhood, there was this killer French poodle, and big, I mean, gigantic, Great Dane slash French poodle. And I had the worst of the both. I mean, he used to eat his owner, but that dog would break out of the owner's house, smash through the fence, and I'd be playing in my mother's laundry basket, because that was the only way she'd keep me from blowing up the world. And that dog would get in there with me, and I don't know how many laundry baskets that dog broke, because he would just get in and roll around, and he was like 4 times bigger than the laundry basket, and he just loved me. And I remember his owner came over looking for him and came to get him, and the dog attacked him, thinking that his owner was going to do something to me. So I've always had an affinity for dogs, canine. And when Doctor Who had a robot dog canine, that's what. And that's how I kind of related to dogs. And hey, bug nuts, not eating bread. Of course I'm eating bread. Why wouldn't I? It's just not too much of it. Everything is moderation, right? And, back in the day, when you were taking your life in your own hands, if you were eating food, I think everyone through the dark ages were drinking mead because it was fermented and it killed all little buggies and was alcohol, right? Nobody drank water, they'd die. Just like, a good, a fifth of the world is. Back in the day when I worked at the United Nations in this NGO that I helped start called Alternative Technologies, we realized that UV from the sun would kill pretty much anything in drinking water. And back in the day, they had these, all through, Africa, they had these liter bottles of, I don't even know what it was called. It wasn't 7-Up. It was kind of like that, And it was just clear plastic. And if you strain the gunk out of the water, put it in that plastic bottle, you had 2 of them, and you put that bottle out in the sun, and then the next day you put your T-shirt or some cheesecloth, and you poured that water and screened the rest of the gunk out of that and put it in the UV, you could drink that water, And if you had 20, 30 of those liter bottles, you could have at least 10 potable drinking water without having to carry it 30 miles, and getting shot by one of the gangster crew. And pretty much all the wars in Africa, any country that has resources, gold, iridium, titanium, earth, metals, The United States, we all have a lot of earth metals. It's getting them out of the ground. It's really a toxic, disgusting thing. Just like gold. Getting gold out of the ground is pretty toxic, And that's why we don't do it in this country. We let it happen in other countries, right? Children, let alone people in Africa. So back in the day of the Dark Ages, why do people pray over their food? Because when you put intent, energetics into that food, you're healing it. So you can eat anything, Well, back in the day when I was, with the, gangster lawyers of the corporate set, and I was living in the swimming pool of chocolate mousse, I wasn't, having very much attention, except for, getting those guys to, sign the contract. I was like a Jedi Knight, Well, we're Jedi Knights, but businessmen, negotiators. I remember in one of them like, oh, it's the negotiators. Uh, they didn't fight unless they had to, and then they kill everyone. Like holy water or wine. Jesus' alleged first miracle. Um, that story goes way interesting in that most weddings go on in that day go on for a week. Forget an afternoon. uh, you know, um, most Semitic people, which Jews and Hebrews and Christians are, they're all the same guys. Islam. Muslims are just Christians on steroids. I'd love to see some Christians pray 5 times a day. Huh? Anyway, so they had this wedding, and towards the end, after weeks going by, they drank all the wine. Everybody's drunk out of their minds. Well, they had lots of water there because part of this, everyone's dirty and stinky. So to come to a wedding, you had to wash off. So they had to have a lot of water so people could at least wash their feet so they wouldn't, bring the dung into the ceremony. So basically, Jesus' mom, and, that was his name, Yahusha, it's not Jesus. Hey, they're running out of wine. What do you want me to do? I said, come on, do something. So he goes, hey, guys, see those? Yeah, that's a drainage word. That's a bilge. This will get that. Bring it over here. He puts his hands like this. Bingo. Turns it into wine. Like taste the wine. It is like the best wine. It's like whoa, right? And the bride's father, who's drunk out of his mind, goes over to him. What happened? Why weren't we drinking? Why did we drink that crap? This is the best. Well, it's coming from God, right? So are you? In every day and every way, take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Yes. Hey, Janie Poo. Happy summer. Griot Sensei Albab. Yep. Cadre, here we are. So, Jane, you coming to visit? Have you dropped me a line on my The Dude Awake 42? Hey there, Lena. Jobo. Yep, that's me, Jobo. How about you? Come on from Sweden. At least we have night here. Lena, you would love the deep green. I sleep 10 hours. I go to bed sometime between 10 and midnight, depending on what I'm reading or writing. And then I go to sleep. And I have the sleepest, soundest, because there's no noise, no light, no nothing but sweet air and the stars and clouds and rain, right? And the sound of rushing water, the waterfall behind me. You'd love it. Lena, tell me about your neighborhood. What do you sleep? What surrounds you in your sleep cell? Months, 2 months ago. Well, you can come here and you can get a job. You're white. You could stay here years. Donald Trump would hire you. You're from one of those happy countries, at least white countries. But now that Sweden has let so many people in, have you heard about Sweden? Yeah, it's a nice place. Oh, I love that, man. That's a great job. You are. So you're doing. See, more. Everyone did a job like Lana, right? So, Lana, do you have a crew? Do you have a space you could do a salon or a cafe or a dumpster dive restaurant or a nightclub, a zombie apocalypse nightclub? Any of the above. I mean, back when I was a younger lad, before I hit 60, before I hit 70, pretty much I would roll into any place and start doing stuff like that. Yeah, and not not looking for permits, or I'd find an abandoned building and start a nightclub. No one would ever care. No one ever, I would go visit the police and say, hey, I'm doing this over here, and, why don't you keep an eye on the crime things? As soon as I start doing this, crime's going to start going down. And it did. And they would come, what are you doing? I said, I am praying. Come on, let's pray. And the cops and I would pray. I mean, I do that in every town I go in. I walk in restaurants and start praying, Let's see, what did I say? And I wanted to the bush, picking up an old couple, and before that I went into an hour and coming from the city just met it hit me in the face. I was like, wow, what is that? Yep, what is that? Yep, that kind of peace and tranquility, right? That you're going to have around you no matter where you are. In this place, I was showing people how to meditate. And the boss came over and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm showing people how to, see God on the inside. And he was like, and, no one complained. So, but they put me, instead of having my big table near the outlet, they put me in the kids' table over in the corner. You can still stay here, but over in the corner. You never have to say you're sorry to me. None of the cadre does, because I have unconditional forgiveness in my heart for everyone, everything. Because that's, we are steadily marching towards, as my born again Christians say, apocalypse, the end of times. No, not really, never going to happen, Someone asked Jesus, and he said it was above his pay grade. Meaning, this is an illusion. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, things can get weird. How much more weird do you want? Mike Pence is our president. Has anyone noticed how Donald Sutherland in the Hunger Games and Mike Pence look exactly the same? I hope, forget, Russia collusion, APEC and the corporate lobbyists are a lot more, a threat to our, we don't even have, there is no threat to our Constitution. We don't have one, after 1871, and they changed it from we the people to we the corporations. And back in the day when our wigged forefathers, we the people were we the white, rich, slave-owning, property-owning, moneyed folk. We're the people. Everybody else is forget or we own them. On the taxation without representation, yeah, right. That was not about tea. No one drank tea. It was about that Mr. Rothschild had taken over the English bank and that set up the city of London and was moving, a central bank of King James, King George, King whatever, into America. Right? And the founding fathers didn't want that. That's why they put in the Constitution that the only people supposed to print the money was them, in the Treasury Department right now. Yes, please, warm it up. Oh, do me a favor. Come here. Waste not, want not. Here we go. Anyway, so go read Paul Street. I was singing his praises the other day, Howard Zinn, Noam Chomsky, Christopher Hitchens, Go watch Democracy Now! I mean, if you can watch me, you can watch Democracy Now! Again, it's all of those guys have their own opinion. I do too, but I kind of try to grease everyone's pole. Yep. And you know, being a homeless guy, I have no debt. I own nothing. They took it all away. It's like the most freeing thing, and I'm eating here like a millionaire, right? Because I pick the cheapest things and drink coffee the whole time they're here, right? Thank you, dear. What's your name?
Danielle.
Hey, what?
Danielle.
Danielle. I think it's Dina. I said, boy, that's a pretty name. So you going to school?
Yeah.
Where are you going to school?
University school.
University school? Is that like a?
ETSU campus.
Oh, is that like high school in ETS? Oh, it's college.
Well, it's like a mixture of college with high school.
Oh, you were like bored in the regular high school, so they sent you there so you wouldn't make trouble.
So yeah.
You wouldn't do something. What do you really like doing? Oh, Heron. Oh, the movies are for you, girl.
Yeah.
You know, and a place to go is up there above Seattle, that Canadian city. They make half of our TV up there, right? And the other place is in North Carolina, in Wilmington.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
You should go ask your teachers.
I'm nice.
Yep, yep. I used to work in films.
Really?
I was what was known as a best boy. You know what a best boy is? They call him a best boy because they do all the work. He's the best. You know, he works with the director, he works with the designer, he makes sure everything gets done and has no ego.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, I talk to everybody. Hey, Pugnuts, owning nothing is not illegal, but society treats it as a crime. Yep. Well, you don't tell people this. You just, you know, my grandma said, whenever you walk into a room, you own it. I walk into the room, I own it. I got a nice car, not mine, my lawyer, right? D. Green, it's not mine. It's another friend of mine, right? I had to get rid of everything. I don't have any. Drop that mic. Drop that mic. You mean that Irish person? I need to drop the Irish. And they're, you know, crimes. What are crimes? You know. You know, in the man. Just, you know, very short time from now, gang. Unless we take advantage of the window of opportunity. You know, Facebook just said they're bringing on a cryptocurrency, right, called Libra. They picked the words, not the words, but what is Libra? Do any of you know Libras, or any of you, are you Libras? What is a Libra? Someone who's doing this. I've never known a Libra who is balanced. Hey, now I love it. You like are so hip. You like speak street. It's like so. You know, when Facebook says their cryptocurrency is called Libra, I mean it's totally going to be out of balance. They're going to take your money all the freaking time. They have no one. You know, banks have the FDIC at least allegedly, somewhat looking over their shoulder. Mark, what's his name? You know. Weazen Pants. Anyway, so I'm sure he's related to Rothschild somehow. I'm there. Yummy. Whoop. Well, politics has always been chaos. You know, when I was in Sweden in 1970, whatever, 78, no, 70, early 77. You know, I was telling the story about the Christian Democrats and the Green Party. And the Christian Democrats wanted to Agent Orange the whole country and get rid of the birch trees. So IKEA would have enough pine trees to make furniture. And they wanted to build a nuclear power plant. And the people said, what are you talking about? No. And so they voted the Green Party in out of nowhere. The Greens said, hey, you vote us in, we won't do this. Yes, cheesecake.
Got it. Turtle cheesecake.
Yeah, and make sure you put a lot of whipped cream on top.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, at the bar.
So, hey, if you're going to have cheesecake, you might as well whip cream. You know what I'm saying? So, so they voted in the Green Party. And what was the funniest thing, so when I lived there, I mean, you guys had satellite dishes, so you probably had TV or cable and all the rest. When I lived in Sweden, they only had one channel, and it was black and white, and it went from 6 p.m. to midnight. That was it. And if you had a TV antenna on your outside of your house, you had to pay like $700 a year tax just to watch, and they would just put on like documentaries of the sex life of the tree slime turtle. It's like what? And they had this political debate between the Green and Christian Democrats. And they had this old tottering guy who was the environmentalist guy of the Christian Democrats. And he said, oh, there's tree huggers, they don't know anything. Look, see, this is the Agent Orange. And he had this picture of orange stuff. And he poured it into a glass. See, I'm going to drink it. And he went, keeled over. And they ran over live TV. He's dead. The Green Party won by the bat. Now, I'm sure that was orange Kool-Aid, and the guy just had a heart attack. He was like, to be live TV. And so the Green Party came in, and what did they do? Within a year, they Agent Orange the woods, the whole country, and thousands of children were born with birth defects, and they built a nuclear power plant, just like the Christian Democrats. It was like, right? And yes, everyone in Sweden said, oh, we have the best, everything, doctors, free education. Well, yeah, but, the education was turning out morons. And my friend, the only reason he tried to kill himself is that he was depressed. And his shrink basically told him, well, why don't you just try and kill yourself? And my friend had 2 little kids who were like 4 and 7. And that was the Sweden I knew, right? And we went up and down in so many airplanes. My wife had an IUD that got dislodged. And every time we had sex, I would poke in this plastic thing in her uterus. And I went to the doctor and, we said, hey, the IUD is dislodged. Can you fix it? And he went in there and said, oh, it's all in your head. There is no IUD in there. I said, yeah, because it moved the other side of the uterus, not where it's supposed to be. So I said, honey, can I? And she goes, yeah. So I grabbed the hand of the doctor and I stuck it up her vagina into her uterus and took a left turn and said, there it is. And he goes, oh, because he already said, well, you don't know anything. I'm the doctor. So that was Sweden. I'm sure Sweden hasn't changed much. And that's why it's chaos, because whenever you got people saying, hey, I'm the doctor, I know, and you're stupid, you don't, just start to go, bah, and that's where we all are. We are sheeple. Oh, we're almost half an hour here, and we got a good 5 people talking away. That's great. Yeah, the TV license. So we went all over the country. So I used to do things like fly into places like Germany and Italy and buy a Mercedes, because Mercedes is like nothing, cheap. You have to get an old Mercedes. I would buy it was 1977. I would buy a 1969 Mercedes, a nice one, a touring car or a sports car for like $200 or $300, $500, $1,000. And I would get all the paperwork and I would drive it into Sweden. And I would sell it for like $15,000, $20,000. Sometimes I bought Volvos in Sweden and drove them to Germany and traded them for a Mercedes. Oh, yes.
Well, what I was trying to tell you is I didn't think we had the caramel to put on there to make it to New York style. Is that okay for you?
Yeah.
That's all right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And this is like a third of the size of the last slice I
Yeah,
got.
I never know.
Yeah, but still kind of close $6. Let's see what it costs. So that's the world we live in. And it's the world we've always lived in. Now, good luck with Sweden trying to find its new identity. You know, the real new identity that Sweden should be looking to is the immigrants. You know, they should not be complaining. They should be embracing them because they're bringing them, like you, baby. You're an immigrant. You know, you brought your whole joie de vie. Plug nuts. Have you ever been to Sweden? You know, every society has its good and its bad points. Right? And when we share the diversity within our culture, that's when we have a good country. And there are countries like Japan, which is probably the most xenophobic country I've ever been to, but they really like to look outside their society because they know they're xenophobic, right? And if you go to Japan and you embrace their culture, their good side, the best parts, and respect them, man, they can't be nicer to you. You know, I've been to Japan 3 times when I was a courier. I always went there because I met friends, you know, the airplane miles forever. And I was, you know, I did my homework on Japan, so I was respectful of their culture. And they really, really, really appreciated my respectfulness. Yep. Yeah, I think I invented that. Nah, it sucks being an immigrant in Sweden. Yeah. Yep. Blame is easy. Yep. And, you know, when you go to Japan, I would stick, I'm not even a tall guy. I'm about 5'9", 11 and a half. You know, I'm almost 6 foot. And I would be that much taller than most Japanese. And so I could watch over their heads, right? And they could see me coming a mile away. Now, Japanese, I think, are a little taller than they used to be. But like I said, if you're respectful, and that's everybody, if you're respectful to whoever you're visiting, they'll love you for it. I mean, I lived in North Africa, and I was, you know, I once went into a mosque wearing a burqa, and they got the mosque. You know, there's the men door and the female door, and I walked into the burqa into the men door, and the guy started screaming at me because he thought it was a woman. And I kind of understood Farsi, but I didn't speak of that well. I said, wait, what's up? I go, wait a minute. Take her, and he started laughing hysterically. Does you know what you're wearing? I said, yeah, it's great. It's a spacesuit. It's cool on the inside, and it's on the outside. There are no bugs in here. The dust is cut in half. This is great. And he goes, no, it's a burqa. I said, yeah, it's great. It's a space. He goes, no, you don't understand. Burqa for women. You're walking in the men's store. I thought you were a woman. I said, only women get this great thing? He goes, no, men have their own, but it's not a burqa. And I said, okay, took it off. And he was just patting me on the back. You're too much, right? And we went in and we prayed and we came out. He took me over to, the man in charge, and we talked theology, right? And I could read the Torah in Hebrew. He was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. And I read, the Quran, right? And he understood that I understood, and that I appreciated the Prophet Muhammad, is his name, his grandchildren. They're the cool ones. Forget reading about Muhammad. Read about his grandchildren. The two of them, a daughter and a son, kept the Persian Empire at bay. Two kids.
Hello, how are you, sir?
A big crowd has showed up. All white, one darker stroke. Yep, daughter and a son, granddaughter, grandson of Muhammad. Go read up on them. Their story is, especially the daughter. Women are always the best. They're the best fighters, the best intellectuals, the best scientists. I had a buddy who used to work at the patent library, and his specialty was the 19th century. And all the patents in the United States were done by black people and women. Like the McCormick Reaper, and the boys had nothing to do with it. It was the wife and the slaves that invented it. But because Mr. McCormick owned the property and he was a white male, he got to sign and got to known for it. The man who invented blood transfusions, and also what is that stuff? It's the factors of blood that aren't blood cells that store better, transport better plasma. It was invented by a black guy. And we say, during the Korean War, he saved thousands of lives. And then he's driving to a conference, and he gets in a car accident, and because he's black, they don't really take care of him. They let him bleed to death. And he's like, I'm a doctor. Give me to the hospital. He lives to get to the hospital. Give me we can't give you a transfusion. You're black. We can't give you white people's blood. No. What are you talking about? He goes, how about plasma? You got plasma? And they go, oh, yes, we've just gotten plasma. Well, give me plasma. Oh, we can't give you plasma. You're a black man. And the guy who invented transfusions, typing and making transfusions workable on a large scale, and discovered developed plasma, died of bleeding to death because the hospital wouldn't give him plasma. And pretty much, if you study the patents, the white guys didn't invent anything because they're dumb, they're stupid, they're drunks. Right? Like Edison, please. Let's say. Back to Eden. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because all those folks basically hate each other. Yeah. They're only taking the old guy out because he's about to die, and they want his money. Mm. Oh, bo. Yeah, if you tell me you feel bad, but pick on them. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're too fat. Oh, you're too this. Oh, you're too that. Anyway. Well, this place is filled up. It's going to get noisy. Again, think about time and space. Think about quieting your mind. How about, hey, let's do a guided meditation right here amongst all these people. Bon appetit. Yeah. Let's see if we can get these people to get happy, right? From you guys, all four of you. Come on, let's go into state. Come on, breathe.
I've been homeless the whole time. Sorry. What? She's working. Got at least what it does. Oysters. Split? Let me see what you got. I don't know if it can hit.
NC. Was that North Carolina or Nice or what is NC? Atlanta.
I don't know, but I gotta have something else. If we do that.
Sounds like a squirrel. Yep, that's all that's running in their heads. I make I make all kinds of things. Yeah, let's give me a view of the lake. Let's see if I can. So, and that's only about 1/80th of the lake. The coastline around this lake is 1,200 miles because they built a dam over there, a little teeny dam, and flooded this whole mountain range. And they are Sawtooth Mountains, so about 80 mountains that have been flooded out. So all these hollows and little towns got flooded out in the 60s. And the federal government didn't care. We just did it. And there's a whole town that had about 1,200 people, and they call Butler, and when the TVA lowers the lake, you can go out there with the boat and see the whole town. It's great. There's cars and laundry on the line because they really gave nobody that much time to get out of there. It was like pretty amazing. Let's see. Yeah, chlorinated water. Besides, it's because that's what rich people expect. Pool, right? Because they have it's really nice. They have nice log cabins all along, about 20 of them that you can rent, and then they have a big marina. And back in the day, they started that in the 60s too. they built a gigantic marina, and then nobody had a boat, so they let people visit. And so it's quite a nice little culture, and the little log cabins are quite nice too. They got some big ones. They got ones that 5, 6 rooms with jacuzzies. It's pretty cheap, like $200. Little room is about 120 when everyone 4th of July weekend. If there's nobody here, it's down to $60. But it's really nice. So everyone expects a pool. So it's not there to like sunbathe. And the lake. See, the problem with the lake is that the 2 counties that are on it, they really don't. I mean, this one county, they let people dump raw sewage into the lake. So, there aren't that many houses on that 1,200-mile thing. But if you're near the raw sewage, you can die of dysentery. So, depends on where you jump in the lake. And so, that's cool as there, right? And this quarter-mile stretch that these guys own, the motel and the restaurant and the marina on, is kind of a cliff. So there is no beach per se. So that's why they have the pool. Anyway, you can tell me anything. And again, if you want to be on the down QT, hold me at thedoodlewake42@gmail. Anyway, what do you want to tell me? Tell us. I have no teeth. That's usually good. It's like I'm growing new teeth, but they're not. It's called a gum line. I'm a gunny. See, I had that whole meal. I gummed everything. There is more young people.
Sorry about that, guys. I'll get some hot food out.
In Sweden, there is more young people that applies to Paradise Hotels than to teacher school.
Make it 3, please. Thank you.
What on the agenda? Like a lot. You're gonna miss your teeth. Well, get used to whatever. That's part of life. Getting used to whatever. Most people get hung up. I don't get hung up in nothing. Makes me a better kisser. No hickeys. No, I guess I can't. If I suck, I could get a kiss. Paradise Hotel. Inform me, Lana, what is Paradise Hotel? What was the crone? She was Irish. She was really Scottish English, but she lived a good chunk of her life. She was like Archie. They were both from Glasgow, rich families.
25.
No, it's okay with the sexy and everything.
Yeah, two entrees, so you get 2 of that side and 1 of that side.
Really, pretty much, sex is just a biological thing. What I like about people is intimacy, being tight with somebody, snuggling, kissing, being sweet to them. That's what I like. The act is, I got to get everything moving in the right direction for it to work. So, and it never really interested me that much.
Still doing okay? over
Yeah, my box to go,
there? Okay.
a little hot coffee,
Sure.
and I'm complaining about the size of that. No, keep that there.
Oh, this one?
Yes, I want a box to take over.
Okay, got it. So one to-go box, freshen up on the coffee.
Right.
And I did actually double check on the size for you. It's a different price.
Oh, small. It's less.
Yes, but it's very negligible. It's only 5 cents.
5 cents.
Yeah. But I did go through and double check for you. I was trying to see if there was anything I could
I would have sent it back if I knew. Because it's
Well, I can tell the manager.
yes,
That's
yeah,
the
tell him to
size.
give me a cut. You know, that was ridiculous.
Tell him what?
Give me a cut, but you cut that was half the cake.
We don't cut it.
Well, the other one was like that big, and that
It
one.
comes pre-made.
Oh, there you go. See, you got to see the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Nobody wants to do Vortex.
Well, he just got paper.
The 3 irate. Yes. The only true magic, gang, is love. All the rest is advertising. Sleight of hand. You know, what is magic? Sleight of hand. Look over here while I'm doing this. That's magic. And Plato said, one man's magic is another man's science. So, it's kind of the real deal, gang, is community and unconditional love. So, Eden, are you falling off a cliff? Anyway, getting towards 1 hour. Thank you, Princess.
You're very welcome.
Throw a little in there, and the rest in there.
I was thinking the same thing. That's why I thought ahead there.
You got a lid for this one?
Yes, I do. I'll be right back for you.
Anyway, and the clip is fine up too.
Well, Wednesday they've got $8.95 a beer, burger, and fries for like
There we
$8.95.
go.
Hey, sweetie, here, take this.
Give me just a few minutes.
Okay,
I'll be
yep.
back.
And you know they've got a good burger.
Ooh, that's exciting. See, that's the magic thing in my wallet. I thought I only had very few dollars. Went in, I looked. 3 times what I paid. That's how that's my magic wallet. You know, I thought I only had $30 and I had 100 in there. So I can give this for somewhat of a nice tip. Put up with me.
And birthdays, too. Next birthdays and Christmas for the next 2 years. You got to make deals with my. See, there you go. Yeah, she doubled it. Man, see? No, I was gonna get my own. Well, these right here. And if she wants the you want the filet or not the sirloin or the new? She wants the charred grilled sirloin. You want medium rare. She wants a side salad with balsamic.
I love it when men order for women who are sitting with them.
She wants the house made chips. I want the skipper seafood fish with catfish, scallops, and oysters.
No, it's easier to be a good unit. Fear is the only thing that motivates us to be bad.
Baked sweet potatoes and actually give me I want a salad. Sorry, a salad. I'll take the same vinaigrette. If this one wants a congee black.
Well, the problem with chewing tobacco. So, Lena, you know what snuff is? It's like the powdery tobacco, and it's called a pinch. You put it down here, and it rots your teeth out. Buddy, good to see you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while. Nice way to spend some time on a summer afternoon. But chewing tobacco, you know. I'll go back to talking. So is there any difference between this little microphone? Can you hear me better with this than you did with the other? I went to school at Duke in 1968. I wasn't like matriculating. I went there to hide from my draft board in plain sight. And I hooked up with a thing called the Thiel Corporation, which was owned by Lockheed Aerospace, and they were doing research on paranormal psychology, and that's where Duke got its money to do that. And I was just on the down low, and I'm always in the library, and there was this woman who like took a whole gigantic table, and she had books all over the place, and she had her typewriter and pads of paper, and she was like right next to the microfiche, and she was looking at microfiche, and she had tons of micro. And this was my kind of girl, and she was quite attractive. Just whoo. And so I kind of, pushed a little. I mean, a big table. I mean, almost as big as that table, but. And I put up a little corner, just like a little corner like there. And I was sitting there, and she was like looking at me like, she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, you're quite an interesting person." And she goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Look at all this. What are you?" I said, "Look at all these books. You're reading Jung, and you're reading Freud, and you're reading the Bhagavad Gita. You were reading, I didn't know any better. You were researching the paranormal psychology. Have you ever read?" I started naming off a whole bunch of folks. And she goes, "Ooh." And she goes, "What do you know about that?" I said, "Well, I used to be part of Theosophical Society. I used to be I guess I still am part of the Theosophical Society and the Rural Society." "Can you speak German?" "Oh, yeah. And I can read Hebrew, too. So you know anything about, I know a bit about the Kabbalah." "Really?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, so we hit it off, and I was telling her that. I said, "So did you ever experience a sensory deprivation type Oh, really? Do you know? I said, oh, yeah, I build them. I said, you build them? He says, my boss would love to meet you. So she took me to her boss. I told her boss all the people I knew in New York, and he was like blown away. You knew Frida? I said, oh, yeah. You knew Madam Uncle Cooper? Oh, yeah. You knew? Oh, yeah. You knew? Yeah. Wow. Can you build? Oh, of course. So he paid me ungodly amount of money to build him toys of the paranormal, which I can still build today, right? No one seems to be interested in that stuff because they've already figured it out. Like I said, one man's magic is another man's science. So there I was at Duke University. Doris Duke was the family, and she was the child of the Philip Morris tobacco fortune, and all the cigarette machines in Duke University were free. You get a pack of cigarettes, you can be there, click, 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 get as many packs as you want for free. So everyone smoked cigarettes, so I started smoking cigarettes. And I didn't smoke like everybody else, but I would drink and I would have a cigarette or two. But everybody was like smoking like 6 of them at once, and and in our laboratory, you couldn't smoke any tobacco because you couldn't have anything that would affect your senses. So I was one of the only people who didn't smoke like everybody else. My girlfriend and that girl and I became sweet on each other that day, because I was the only guy who wasn't scared of her, right? Who knew what she was talking about and kept telling her how brilliant and tremendous and great she was, because she was all those things. Why wouldn't I tell her? I was, wow, I'm amazed. I'm amazed you're hanging out with me. Wow, you're the best man I've met since my Uncle Floyd, since my daddy Fugnuts, So anyway, so that's the only time I did tobacco. And then when I moved back to New York, I went from North Carolina, where even if you bought a pack of cigarettes, it was a nickel. New York was $1.25. Now it's like $30 for a pack of cigarettes, which is, they allegedly put it into healthcare. If they're doing that, then it's fine. Like, living in Sweden, all of, cigarettes and booze and other bad things that were considered bad. I never considered them bad. I just didn't like doing them. They said that, high taxes went into, healthcare and this and that. Anyway, Uber Gruber, yep. Sensory deprivation tanks. Not only did you float on top, but I had anaconda. I didn't even hear your heart. And I had it surrounded by a Faraday cage. No electromagnetic anything. Everything was a null experience. You had none of your darker than dark. Couldn't smell anything. The oxygen was exactly what it was. Oxygen. Everything was just. So you got no input on your sensory. And man, you were in there 5 minutes, and it was like doing 6 tabs of acid. Then once I learned how to really meditate, even that was relative. And where I sleep, is almost a sensory deprivation tank. It's like really quiet, be the restaurant saying, get out. Anyway. So, I very much, tomorrow I'll try and do a live chat around the same time, around noon. I'll probably be at my IHOP office, and my little corner there is much quieter. So maybe we do a guided meditation. Right? I'm writing a story, so I want to take you to that experience in the guided meditation. Yes, of course. I want you to share everything with me, Lana. Again, do me a favor. send whatever you want me to see to my the dude awake 42 at Gmail and have the link there, because every time I try and type something into the YouTube or even trying to do a Gmail to somebody where they don't get me first, I can like reply real easy, hit that button, reply, not a problem. But so love it if you contact me at my Gmail, xratted.blogspot.com, xratted, xratted, .blogspot.com. You're on YouTube. Ambrose Taylor. If you could, baby, please just send it off to my Gmail, the dude awake 42 at Gmail. It just makes my life a lot easier, because I have to copy this on a piece of paper and then put it in, and I won't see the right thing. Ooh, one who's dead is talking. Yeah. It's always interested to talk to the dead. Anyway, Lana, I'd love to see you. Come and visit. I'm never getting out of America. At least not, once I get hired by artificial intelligence, then I'll be free to go anywhere. Just watch it. Okay. Again, if you could please send it to the dude awake 42 at Gmail. I'd be happy. Okay? Ooh, look at that. It was 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 7 seconds. Anna, please send me. I want to watch it. Please send it the link to the dude awake 42 at Gmail. Okay? Please. Otherwise, I'll try. I'll have to go back and write it down. And I never been able to do it, but if you're sending it to me, your motivation will be everything. But please, come on. Send all of your links to the dude awake 42 at Gmail. Okay? Go read my writings at xratted.blogspot.com. So, Amanda, have you looked at my blogspot? xratted.blogspot.com. Anyway, that's where my novels are. Anyway, I'm going to sign off here in about a few seconds. And I love you all. It's always good to hang with you. Come on, try and, some more thumbs up. Get some more subscribers. Get people, much love, Bob. Go get, start, fan clubs in your countries. Get people watching on, have potluck dinners and watch, Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. I love you guys. Okay? Pass the word. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Hit end the stream. I'm hitting that right now. And I love you guys. Catch you later.